This is the part I think people are going to underestimate walking into the theater. In this story, gods are not background lore, they are actively playing chess with the human lives. Poseidon wants Odysseus dead or at least destroyed. Athena, goddess of wisdom and strategy, played by Zendaya, is Odysseus' protector. She is the reason he arrives half of this journey. She is clever, calculating, and she works around her uncle Poseidon whenever she can, and nudging events, disguising herself, appearing to Odysseus' son, Telemachus, to guide him too. Zeus, the king of all gods, mostly try to keep peace between these two, because even gods have to negotiate with each other. So when you are watching this film, pay attention to who is actually causing the events on screen. A storm that just happens to hit the Odysseus ship is not a random weather. It's Poseidon's way of settling a score. A stranger who shows up with a suspiciously good advice might not be a stranger at all. Now, this is the engine of the entire story. Every storm, every shipwreck, every detour that Poseidon personally makes sure Odysseus suffers for one moment of arrogance. Now, let's talk about the moments the trailers are clearly building toward. Because each of these is not a cool creature that it meant something. Odysseus' men land on an island where locals offer him a fruit, the lotus. One bite and you forget home entirely. You forget who you are. Odysseus has to physically drag his own men back to the ships, kicking and screaming, because they would rather stay drugged and forget their families than continue the journey. It's the first sign this trip to home is going to test more than just muscle. It's going to test their identity itself. We covered the curse, but notice the setup too. Polyphemus traps Odysseus' men in a cave, eats them one by one. Odysseus only escapes by telling the giant his name is Nobody. When Polyphemus screams for help, he shouts, "Nobody is killing me," and nobody comes. It's the Odysseus' cleverness at, at his sharpest, by the way, right before his pride ruins everything. Before Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey even hits big finale, there's a detour almost nobody remembers correctly. Odysseus' crew lands on an island, which is run by a god witch named Circe. She invites the men in, feeds them, and the second they let their guard down, she turns every single one of them into pigs. Literally snouts, hooves, the whole transformation. Odysseus only survives because a god hands him a magic herb that blocks her spell. He walks immune, sword drawn, ready to kill her. Instead, he ends up staying on her island for an entire year, not as a prisoner, but by choice. She offers comfort, power, and a life which none of the danger is awaiting him back home, and he's almost forget his wife and his son he is supposedly dying to get back to. Circe is not just another monster fight. She is the first real test of whether Odysseus actually wants to go home or he just says so. Now, Circe is not just an obstacle, she is the first of several women in this story who offers Odysseus comfort, power, even immortality. If he'll just stop trying to get home. The Sirens, creatures whose song is so beautiful it drives sailors to wreck their ships just to get closer. Odysseus wants to hear it and live, so he and his crew plug their ears with wax, then tie him to the mast so he can listen without being able to jump overboard. It's one of the most famous images in all of literature, and it's really about the danger of desire versus discipline to survive it. Scylla and Charybdis, a narrow strait with a six-headed monster one side and a ship swallowing whirlpool on the other. Odysseus has to choose which danger he has to sail toward, and he chooses to lose a few men to Scylla rather than risk his whole ship to Charybdis. It's one of the truly impossible choice of the voyage. No version where everybody survives. Here's a moment that actually is the emotional core of Nolan's The Odyssey, and it has nothing to do with the monsters. After everything, the curses, the shipwrecks, losing almost his entire crew, Odysseus washes up on an island of a nymph named Calypso. She is beautiful, immortal, and instantly obsessed with him. She keeps him there, not for a week, not for even a year. She keeps him there for 7 long years. After she offers him a deal almost anyone would take in a heartbeat and stay with her forever. She offered him to make him immortal, no aging, no death, a literal god for eternity. And do you know what he says? He says no. After a war of curse, monsters, witches, even 7 years getting trapped on an island alone, he still chooses his mortal wife who is aging without him and a kingdom that might even not exist anymore, over an eternal paradise with a goddess. That single decision is the whole point of this 3000 years old story. Home over glory, mortality over immortality. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up, and if you want to see more contents like this in future, please do subscribe to Ask Mythology. Until then, thanks again. Thank you everyone. Thank you for your time. Bye bye.